Welcome to the Explainer. There's something that's literally everywhere, silently powering our modern lives. I'm talking about the unsung hero of technology, the electric motor. And just to show you how wide their reach is, let me start with a question for you. What in the world do a high-tech drone, a simple kitchen blender, and a massive factory all have in common? Yep, the electric motor. It's this amazing device that takes electricity and, through the magic of electromagnetism, turns it into motion. Simple as that. It's what makes our world, well, turn. But here's the thing. Not all motors are the same. Not by a long shot. They basically fall into two major camps. And the choice between them, well, it defines how our technology works. And that gets us to the heart of today's explainer. The big showdown. AC versus DC.
Okay, let's get right into it. If you want to understand why an engineer would pick one motor over the other, you've got to get the basics of these two fundamental types. Okay, probably the easiest way to think about this is to picture two different athletes. The AC motor, that's your marathon runner. It's steady, it's reliable, and it's super efficient over these long, continuous runs. You just plug it into the grid and it goes. But the DC motor, now that's your sprinter, or maybe a gymnast. It's all about that explosive starting power and incredible, precise control, perfect for anything running on a battery. And this is where those differences really start to matter. Just look at speed control, for example. For an AC motor, changing its speed is actually pretty complex. You need this extra piece of hardware called a variable frequency drive, or VFD. But for a DC motor, it's so simple. You just vary the voltage. And that one little detail, it completely changes where and how you can use each type of motor. So how do you pick the winner? Well, it's not about which one is better overall. It's all about picking the right motor for the right job. So let's start with the AC motor. Where is this thing the undisputed champion? When does our marathon runner actually win the race? Look, if you need a total workhorse, something that can just run and run for years without much fuss, the AC motor is your guy. They are built tough, super durable, and really low maintenance. And that's exactly why they're perfect for the nonstop grind of a factory conveyor belts or an industrial pump or even the fan whirring away inside your home's HVAC system. Okay, but what about the other side of the coin? What about those jobs that need insane precision, quick changes in speed, and the freedom to operate without being plugged into a wall? Now this is where the DC motor really shines. You know that instant jolt of acceleration you get in an electric car? That's thanks to high starting torque from a DC motor. That's the twisting force from a dead stop. Or think about a robot arm moving with absolute pinpoint accuracy. That's DC. Even your cordless drill, the power you get the second you pull that trigger, that's a DC motor. You just need that level of control for so much of our modern tech. But wait, the story of the DC motor doesn't just stop there. Oh no, it has this really fascinating twist, a brilliant evolution that was designed to fix one of its biggest, oldest problems. You see, the classic DC motor had a bit of an Achilles heel. To get power to the parts that are spinning, it used these little physical carbon blocks called brushes. Now, these brushes are constantly rubbing against another part. And all that friction, well, it creates wear and tear, it creates sparks, and it's just not very efficient. So what did engineers do? They came up with a genius solution. Just get rid of the brushes altogether. This new design, the brushless DC motor, or BLDC, uses smart electronics instead of physical contact to do the switching. And that one single change, it gets rid of all the wear and tear, it eliminates those dangerous sparks, and it makes the motor run so much quieter and cleaner. And the payoff is huge. Just look at the jump in efficiency. I mean, a 10-point jump might not sound like a crazy number, but in the real world, that is massive. It's the difference between a high-end drone flying for 20 minutes versus 25 minutes. All that energy that was being wasted as heat is now going right to the propellers or to the wheels of an EV. It makes a huge difference for battery life. Of course, there's always a catch, right? This incredible innovation, it comes at a cost. That old, simple, brushed motor was cheap and easy to make, but the new brushless motor, it's really a whole system. It needs a complex and, a more expensive electronic controller just to make it work. And all this innovation, this constant push forward, it's not just about making things faster or more powerful. It's actually part of a much bigger story. The evolution of the motor is now right at the center of this global push for efficiency and, really, for sustainability. And believe me, the innovation is speeding up.
We're seeing engineers create these ultra-compact pancake motors for electric vehicles. They're using new hairpin winding techniques to cram more power into a smaller space, and they're even building smart motors that can literally tell you when they need maintenance before they break. It's a flat-out race to make every single part smaller, smarter, and way more efficient. And a huge reason for all this progress isn't just companies trying to outdo each other. A lot of it comes down to regulation. Governments all over the world are setting tougher and tougher standards for energy use, which basically forces the entire industry to innovate.
These international standards basically create a ladder that manufacturers have to climb. What was considered high efficiency just a few years ago is now the absolute bare minimum in a lot of places. The goalposts just keep moving, pushing everyone towards super premium and even ultra premium efficiency. It's all about doing more with less energy.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that the humble electric motor, AC or DC, is more important now than it has ever been. As our whole world electrifies, the race to build the perfect, most efficient motor is on. And it just leaves you wondering, what incredible new thing will they power next?